All right, let's talk crosshair atoms. In this video, we're going to kind of cover the fundamentals, right? So that we have a framework that all the crosshair atom moves can easily fit within. And we're going to start with kind of a weird idea, some of that relativity shit, and that's the direction thing. So the poi never changes direction, right? But I've just turned 180. So the poi appears to be going in a different direction to me. And then I switch over. But when I'm spinning horizontally, I never change my relationship to the poi, right? So if I'm turning 360, the poi is in spinning this whole time. You know, it's like it doesn't go and feel like it changed direction. So we can actually we have two horizontal directions that are kind of just separate from each other. And you got to bounce or bend or stall to change the direction of a horizontal. It won't do it through turning, right? So we're going to keep that in mind as we start going into these crosshair atoms, because we can access a forward and reverse version of each one, but we'll have to change the direction of the horizontal one time on each side. What am I talking about? I'll show you. So this will be your first drill. If you went through the prerequisite videos and have bends down in just a basic fashion, then this should be pretty easy. You can do all of these drills just by starting with a horizontal. You don't have to go from this buzzsaw and bend into it, right? You could just get one going and start at horizontal and then start at horizontal in the other direction. Or if it's easier to start it this way and then stall it, do that. The idea in this drill is not so much about the bend, it's more about understanding the variables here, right? So we'll start with a forward buzzsaw. I'm going to start with my left hand, bring it up so that the poise bottom part of the orbit is right at my right hand. And as it's swinging in, I'm going to change the plane so they're perpendicular, right? So now if I make an L like this, you can see that this is the meshing right here. They're both moving towards me at that part. If I make an L like this, it's not going to work. It'll air wrap. So this is our functional L. Just keep that in mind. That's one. Now, we'll do the same thing, but we'll bend from the top of the orbit. Forward, boom. Now, the top is where they mesh, right here. So this is my functional L. There's a different L. We'll do the same thing on this side. There's my L. And then the same thing on this side. There's my L, right? Move it up here. Boom. So let's do that again, but now we'll bring our hands together into an atom. Just like that. So this is like the buzzsaw version of your crosshair atom. Bring that out, bend up. Let's do the same atom, but on the other side. Got this guy. And now let's go here and do the forward bend one. And you'll notice something. From this forward bend, my hand has to go to the top half of this orbit. And from the reverse bend, it goes to the bottom half. So now let's go to our right hand, do the forward bend, bring that atom in, and back to where we started. 4 versions of the crosshair atom. 4 versions in forward. So we know if we turn 180, our horizontal hand, nothing's going to change, right? But if we turn 180, our vertical hand will change. So now, let's take that into account and do this all backwards, right? So we'll do a reverse buzzsaw, bend out, and get to the bottom. Go here, bend out, get to the bottom. Now go to the bottom, bend, get to the top here. Same on this side. I'll show you all that from the front too. So the same thing, but in reverse, right? So, boom, that one, this one, this one, this one. So those are all the drills. So you can pause and drill all of those, or I kind of ranted through, so yeah, just pause and drill those reverse ones if it's difficult at all. Then what we'll notice is that we can turn. All right, we're gonna go to the next drill. This was explained to me. This was called layouts. I don't know what it's called now, but the idea is you just move your hand a quarter of the rotation like this, and you drill these positions. Get comfortable with these, right? And then do it in anti-spin. So you move your hand in the opposite direction that the poi is spinning into those same positions. Drill it on this side. We're going to do that, but we're going to do it with our atoms. So I'm going to start with the forward one here. Take the top, bend it out. We have got this atom here. I'm going to turn towards the in spin, right? So this hand, I'll lay it out, and then my atom, I can whip it around and bring it to here. Now I'm experiencing the reverse version. I'll lay this one out again, bring this one across, back to where I started. Now I'm going to change the direction of the horizontal one and do the same drill going the other direction. Well, sorry, that was a flower all the way across. Back in. Now, here, let me just continue this through and through. And then, however you want to do it, you know. It's just, the idea is to drill moving these around. Do it as a layout. Do it as a layout. And if well, my horizontal has to go anti-spin now. Boonk. Boonk. Let's do horizontal in-spin, anti-spin, vertical. So this will get you really comfortable with what will eventually become the flowers, right? So drill that and keep in mind all of the variables. So let's go through them real quick. Forward, bend the out at the bottom of the orbit, boom, bring these together. We're going to turn, let's just do in spin, but you know, once you get in spin down, do it in anti-spin, all that shit. So scoop, 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 scoop. Back to the buzzsaw. We're going to bend and do the same thing on this side now. Scoop, scoop, in spin, in spin, in spin, up top, over, in spin, bam. And then we'll bend from the bottom now. We have to start with our horizontal hand on this one. Boom, 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 boom. Bend back up. Bend out from the bottom on this one. Horizontal, horizontal, vertical, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, vertical. And did we do them ball? Well, if we did, cool. If we didn't, you know what to do. And then you can start in reverse, do the same thing, because you work through it, right? If we're doing these turns, now I'm in forward, now I'm in reverse, forward. So you can start from reverse, turn through forward, you can start from forward, turn through reverse, all that. Cool. So drill that stuff while we kind of take into account this next idea. If you've been drilling your inside planes, you've been working on this buzzsaw thing from here to here, how the left hand, my left hand, has to move to the front. So we're going to need to do something like this. But remember when we were turning around, this is the thing that happens, is the polarity thing, right? So we're going to do the same thing with an atom. First thing to take into account is because you got a horizontal one, you're going to have your hand out a little further in front of you to make space for the horizontal one. But let's just go forward buzzsaw, bend out at the bottom of the orbit, bring my hands together. I'm going to bring it as close in as I can until it's not going to work anymore. And that's going to be because it's inside my arms, right? It just won't work. I can't really go any further to my right without it colliding with my arm. So I have to put my hand that's on the bottom, onto the top because it's reversed, right? So that's that polarity thing. And now I'm back in reverse, right? So do the same thing from reverse. Try to bring it in as close as you can. It's going to get close to your arm here. Bring and switch. 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 Damn, dude, this is hard to demonstrate. Can you guys see that all right? But this thing is just fun. This is this is your inversion point where it goes from forward to reverse. There's a few of those in atoms. We'll just kind of stumble across them and eventually you'll get used to them. You know, they're really fun when you start to notice them everywhere. But that's your turn, you know, because when we're doing layouts, they're not really interacting. So it doesn't really matter. You could have it here or here. It'd be totally fine because they're not interacting, you know, but the minute you get an atom going where your center of rotations are really, really close, you got to take this polarity thing into account. Well, so that's a bunch of drills. That's all your versions, right? 4 quadrants, 2 directions. There should be plenty. You got the switch thing. And then the final thing we'll go into is weaves. Just like a normal weave. There's a million variations, right? Like this thing is just a weave, just a 2 beat on either side, 2 beats around each other, you know, 2 beats like this. So you can do all sorts of versions of weaves with these atoms. So for example, let's just take the buzzsaw, bend the bottom out right here. I could do a 2 beat with this hand. I could do a 2 beat with this hand. So we could do a weave like this. I could put this hand, we could do a weave like this, where I'm not even 2 beating, I'm just switching the polarity. We could do the same from here, the way you would do like a 5 beat, where they just cross like this. You could do something like that atomically. Like that. You could switch and do it on this side. And then you could link all of those to make some crazy long weave. And then there's this side, you know, so there's an insane variation, an insane number of variations of the weaves. And then there's the reverse direction of all of those. Mess with them, see which ones feel good to you, see which ones you think look cool, see which ones you stumble into during bigger sequences, and focus on those, because there's a lot, and they all look pretty similar. Learn them all, ultimately, but just focus on the ones you'll use. So that's your Crosshair foundation course thing, and we'll get into moves in some upcoming videos. Drill, 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 and have fun.